Yes, absolutely. Dr. Joti Samra, you've met her on our show many times before. She is a professional psychologist, but she's also one of the hosts of $1 Million Neighborhood. She joins us now.
How are you?
I'm wonderful, and it's fantastic to see you guys. Fantastic to be back in Vancouver.
But I loved my pets. That is a scene from Confessions: Animal Hoarding, a new series that's out. And Dr. Joti Samra, a clinical psychologist here in Vancouver and the president of the BC Psychological Association, as you saw, was in that particular episode and serves as an expert and consultant on the show as well. Thanks for coming in this morning.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
And I think when we're passionate about something and doing it not for the end goal, like I'm not here because this was my end goal. I'm here because I love doing what I do. I love being a psychologist. I love being able to connect with people, and I love being able to provide assistance and guidance to people when they're struggling.
I mean, I think it's bizarre, and I'm one of these people that, of course, you know what I do for a living. I'm a pretty chatty person, and it doesn't matter where I am, I'll start to kind of talk to people. And I do think fundamentally we are social creatures, and all of us thrive off social connection, and that looks a lot of different ways. It can be through friends and family, through coworkers and colleagues, things that we do, but certainly love is a core part of that for a lot of us. And there's so many studies, so much evidence that shows us that those of us that are social, that have supports around us, even when we're going through adverse life circumstances, whether it's financial, whether it's health related, whether it's a relationship breakup, that we do much better physically and emotionally. Yeah, well, one of the things that you're touching on, so finances and sex, the two most difficult things for people to talk about, right? And honestly, I have a private practice as well, and individuals that'll come in that have been married 10, 20, 30 years, may have 2 or 3 kids and share all of these elements in their life, yet can't talk about money.
And I think it's truly being able to understand people. And I think many of us don't have, or have very few people in our life that truly, truly, truly understand who we are.
Where do you think the undervaluing comes from?
Maybe because I was always told I'm not artistic.
But it is stopping you from being able to go
what I should be charging.
Which is what you have to do if you're to make this a viable business. Yeah. I think both of you are in that kind of trap of acquiring, collecting things that you're not needing because somehow you've got this false perception that you're saving or maybe even earning something by collecting things, but you're not. Maybe you need to talk to someone in the community that can help you say, hey, how do I meal plan? Like if you haven't learned how to meal plan.
I haven't.
Okay, so that's a skills deficit. Does your family need 3 vehicles? Yes, absolutely.
I agree with if we don't.
And stress is something that all of us are dealing with in our personal and work lives all of the time. And stress is not necessarily a bad thing, right? We all need a certain level of stress on us to be able to be kind of physiologically aroused, engaged, motivated in the work that we do. But we do know that when we are under high levels of chronic stress that we have very little control over, that can start to impact us quite significantly. So that means rather than saying, I'm going to never eat junk food, I'm going to work out 5 times a week for the whole year, who's going to stick to that, right? Way better to say I'm going to work out 3 times a week at 6 o'clock, at the gym that's around the corner from my place for the month of January. And write it down. It's amazing the power of writing things down. And on one hand, we take a look at our criminal system and say this is not an individual that at this point in time has perpetrated abuse or violence toward a person. Certainly, we see lots of examples of violence toward animals. And we know that this is one of the most strongly predictive factors of risk to hurt others. So we're in this conundrum, I think, as a society, as a police service, to say, here's this person who declares her intent to commit crime, and what do we do in this kind of situation to manage and really mitigate that risk?
So certainly we've seen a lot of attention given to the whole issue of hoarding, and what we're normally used to or more familiar with seeing is what's called object hoarding, so when people are collecting things, but we know a subset of hoarders gravitate mostly toward animals.
What I can talk about.
So wait a second, you're practicing as a psychologist, you're doing this show, and of course you have speaking engagements all over the time. How much you sleeping?
Not much, not enough. That's why I'm losing my voice.
Yeah,
I know. I don't have a very psychologically healthy workplace. Myself, I say my boss is kind of a, you know what.
No, yeah.
my client,
your boss. Just